Director at Azteca Music Group, based out of Dallas, Texas. I still live in San Antonio. Hold a seat on the San Antonio Music Committee, and also I'm a trustee of the Recording Academy National Board of Trustees. That's enough for me, but I'm going to introduce now. I would like for each panelist to introduce themselves, something quick. We got a short amount of time on this topic, so that's a lot. One.
Hello, my name is Juan.
Hello? Yes. Hi, my name is Juan Manuel, and I own a music publishing company. I also have a company called Why Not Entertainment, and we deal with a lot of issues that, a lot of questions that you guys had earlier. We kind of cover a lot of that stuff. That company was established for that purpose specifically. So we deal with management, we deal with marketing, publicity, we deal with publishing, licensing, and all that. The list goes on. So a little bit about myself. I started in the industry 37 years ago. I've been a Grammy member for 30 years. I'm a founding member of the Latin Recording Academy. I've been a songwriter, I've been an artist, got to tour all over, great, that's a little bit about me.
My name is Ted Lowe. I work in music licensing music to film, television, movie trailers, advertising, video game trailers, network promos. Born and raised in LA, moved to Austin 3.5 years ago. My partner's company is in Burbank, California, tax-free compared to Los Angeles, 1% off the top. Prior to forming my company, I was an A&R guy at Epic Records in LA, and before that, Warner Brothers.
My name is Mark Rogers. I came to San Antonio in 1993 to be the director of the publishing division of Southern Music Company, which at that time was located here in San Antonio. We're now headquartered in St. Louis for their corporate quick acquisitions and things like that. My background is I'm an academic musician. I currently am on the faculty at Trinity University, Texas Lutheran University, and San Antonio College. But I'm also a performing musician, but I'm a performing musician in the classical world. I'm a bassoonist, so I play with the Corpus Christi Symphony, the Victoria Symphony, sub with the San Antonio Symphony, and groups like that. The main area in which I have been involved with music licensing here with Southern Music Company is Southern Music Company reached out 40 or 50 years ago to the major colleges which were part of, in those days, the Southwest Conference and now part of the Big 12. And we made an agreement where we would be the licensing agents for the school songs of Texas A&M, the University of Texas, Baylor University, and places like that. Because every time there's even the slightest snippet of the Eyes of Texas that goes out over the airwaves for a college football game or basketball game, or somebody wants to have a product where they pick up a water bottle and it starts playing the Aggie War Hymn, well, there's money that needs to change hands when that happens, and that money needs to go to the ex-Students Association at the University of Texas or the former Students Association at Texas A&M. So that's been my background with music licensing. And now that Southern Music Company is publishing music again, we are now licensing ourselves. We are in agreements with Hal Leonard and Alfred, which are two of the companies that hold most of the pop music library here in the United States, licensing those titles from them so that we can monetize those and put them out. So basically, anytime you're trying to use someone else's copyrighted material and make a buck, you've got to be involved with music licensing.
Hey, real quick, Mark, I just want to clear up something. I heard a big rumor years ago that you guys own the copyright for, is it the UT?
We don't own it, we administer it.
Oh, okay. See that? Lies out there. Rumors saying you guys own the copyright.
Don't own it, we administer it.
That still is good.
Hey everybody, I'm Abe Batchon, the founder and CEO of BeatStars.com, a music licensing platform for music producers and recording artists, over 1 million worldwide. We help power the collaboration process for song creation for some of the biggest artists in the world and the majority of the independent artists on the internet. We help recording artists find their next beat for their next single or their next album on our marketplace, and we also help music producers set up their e-commerce platforms to sell direct to recording artists, selling kits, services, and yeah, that's about it. Prior to doing that, I was a A&R over at Ingrooves, which is a Universal partner and company. Helped many artists in their careers. Discovered a Grammy artist named Macklemore. Worked with Rostrum Records, which is Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa, put together a hip hop group called Slaughterhouse that's signed to Shady Records. Worked with Killer Mike, did all of his digital stuff, Strange Music with Tech Nine, and so these guys are a little bit older than some of you guys in here, but yeah, they had a great independent run in their careers. The Lock, Styles P. Yeah, so I'm here to give you guys a little bit about what we do, and hopefully we can exchange some information.
My name is James Cisneros. I am the Premier Accounts Music Licensing Administrator at Mood Media. So Mood Media is a company that provides, well, we are the largest background music services provider in the world. So anytime you walk into any mall in America and you're hearing music in any of those stores, we provide music to 70% of that mall. So yeah, we do music licensing. I work a lot with independent artists. We have licenses in place with major labels and major publishers. And my favorite type of music is a little bit of everything. I think that's really important in working in music. And prior to doing that, I lived in New York for a little bit, did a lot of internships. Internships are super important in this business, and so I currently run the internship program at Mood Media. So if you're interested in that, let me know.
Good morning. My name is Velia Gonzalez, and I am the Vice President and co-founder of Why Not Entertainment. A little bit about my background. I worked at ASCAP for nearly 15 years, and I work with many amazing artists that you listen to today on the radio. A part of my job at ASCAP was not only to promote music education, but to sign up songwriters and music publishers so that they could get paid royalties. So I'm born and raised here in San Antonio. I studied radio, TV, and film at San Antonio College, and I'm excited to be here today.
Please do. Everybody making the time to get here. Early in the morning. We work in the music business, so this is early for us. So, okay. So I'm going to go into professor mode. I forgot to mention I'm also adjunct faculty at San Antonio College. Some of my students are here for the music publishing course. And we're talking about licensing, the granting of authority, giving the permission for a particular use. And what are we granting? What is this that we're giving authority to? I'm going to spend a couple of minutes with just talking about copyright, something real simple. That could be a lecture, 2-hour lecture by itself, right? And we still wouldn't be finished. So real quick, copyright, what is it? Basically, when two things happen, copyright exists. When you have an original work of authorship fixed in a tangible medium, I can touch it, copyright automatically exists. There's rights granted to your work. In the US, the copyright law recognizes two copyrights: the composition, the songwriter's creation, and the master recording. So those are the two items that we're granting the authority to use. Now, what are these rights? Reproduction, distribution, performance, public display, digital audio transmission. I'm from the old school, I always forget digital. And derivative works, making changes. One more time. Reproduction, distribution, performance, public display, sync. We talked about films a little bit. Notation, lyric reprint, digital audio transmission, and making changes, derivative works. So it is the granting, getting the authority to use. Utah, some of our here, James here in the background, music services, so we had a nice talk through email about what you guys do, and you guys have to get a lot of licenses for your clients. I'm gonna start first with, where's my notes here? There you go, okay. With Juan Manuel and Velia, and myself, and we have a long history of music publishing, but I want them to kind of just start talking about music publishing, the writer's rights, and how they go about licensing the use of the composition. So I'll turn the mic over to, there's one over there, please, for Velia, and one's over here. By the way, they're married, but can you tell they're married?
We met in the music business.
Okay.
And we also wrote many songs together and collaborated quite a bit.
So I'm just going to start off with a question real quick. For those of main sources of income for a songwriter. Hopefully you've heard these terms. We've got a small amount of time. We can't really go into them. But mechanicals, performance, synchronization, digital, meaning downloads and streaming now. What are some common scenarios in licensing your copyrights for particular uses? And I'll turn to you.
I'll start with the fun part. And you can throw in your legal stuff. So, you need to sign up to ASCAP, CSAC, or BMI. And there's actually a fourth performance rights organization. There's 4 in the US. I highly recommend you become more educated if you're a songwriter and a music publisher. If you're not signed up to this society, you will not get paid for royalties. And what royalties do they pay? They pay for performances, which includes radio, television, films, anywhere you hear music, that is a royalty that the songwriters and publishers need to get paid. So that's just a quick spill of your affiliation to the PROs, and we can talk about it later in detail after the panel. Go ahead, Ron.
So first off, let me ask, show of hands, who here is a songwriter? Wow, okay, great. Who is a music producer? Okay, beats? Okay, who wants to be in the music business as a business professional? Okay, hopefully all the same people that did that raise their hand, yeah? Okay, so let me just go back a little bit. I want to touch a little bit on the basics of music publishing, because that's super important if you want to go to the next level, right? So here's the thing, here's what we deal with all the time. We get songwriters, and this happens, I can probably say 100% of the time. They come in our door and they say, okay, I have this song. Okay, and then our first question, who publishes the song? Well, that's the answer. Well, okay, well what? Well, who publishes the song? Here's what I have a problem with. You as an independent songwriter, as an independent producer, beats, whatever, you have to get very, very familiar with the basics of publishing. But I don't know if you guys have ever read a book where it says unsolicited material, we don't accept any unsolicited material. There's a reason for that. The reason is because we as professionals do not want to deal with issues with the song. So let's say, writer A and writer B write a song. You have to have some sort of contract there that says, this guy wrote this guy wrote that, and this is how we're going to share it, and this is what's happening, and this is who's going to be the publisher.